Uh-oh. Hello, neighbor. Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. I had a little bit of technical difficulty tonight. I could not get my video to post to Facebook because I used that extra step of going through Zoom so that the closed captioning will come on. I could not get my video to post, but here we are, and I hope that you are ready for another Stampin' Sunday video. I'm going to try really hard to figure out if I can see the comments or if I can see when you comment or like or share. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. Hi, Anne. I hope you're all doing well tonight. We were camping this weekend and we just got back today. It was a wonderful trip, but I am a little bit worn out. I'm tired. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to try and case a card. So if you don't know what casing is, it means copy and share everything. So I made this card at Michelle Litwiller's, I think it was the summer retreat. It was either spring or summer. I think it was summer. I can't remember. I just pulled it out of the bag and I can't remember which one. But it uses the stamp set from, I was going to pull it out. So hold on one second. Uses a stamp set from a kit. Okay. And the kit comes in this really cute little polka dotty box, just like a paper pumpkin comes in. But inside the kit, you get an ink spot and you get the stamp set, you get some washi tape, you get adhesive, a little notebook, and all kinds of other little goodies are inside there, little die cuts and stickers and really cute stuff. So tonight we're going to use the stamp set for something other than the journal. It's supposed to be a journal. It has, I can't remember how many pages, but it's really cute. And my daughter wanted to have an extra journal. And so tonight we're going to use the stamp set to make this card and some paper that we have. So I'm going to turn the camera over and we will get started right away. Okay, now hopefully you can see my work area over here. And uh-oh, it doesn't look like you can. All right, hold on. more. You guys, I always think I'm figuring it out, but I'm not always. Let's try. Record this video. Oh, you guys, I don't know why it won't switch over to the other view. Live on Facebook. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try removing the pin and I will try and put it back again in a moment. Okay, it looks like I have to have both. And so I don't know how to go to the cloud. Okay, hold on. I think I can figure it out. I'm sorry this is taking a little extra time tonight. The technology is always a little tricky, right? So if I switch over, let me try it now. One of these days, you guys, I'm really gonna have it figured out. Okay. Now is it gonna switch? Nope. Okay, so I guess I can't do it that way, but you'll be able to see both. I guess you'll be able to see both me and my Tuesday. Okay, you'll be able to see both me and my project tonight. So I can't figure out exactly what's going on. Everything I try is not working. All right, so I'm gonna quit trying, and hopefully you'll be able to see both. Okay, let's get started making our card because it's not whatever I'm trying is not working. All right, so I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat here, and this is what I'll use to stamp on. This is the card we're casing, so I think we'll start making our pieces first. I wanted my card to have a white base, and so I've got a piece of thick white cardstock, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored here at 4 1/4. So we're just going to go ahead and fold that in half at the score line. And then I'm going to take my bone folder here and I'm going to press that fold to make it nice and steady so that my card will stay fairly flat. So that's our first thing to do. And then next, I'm going to cut a piece of Blushing Bride that is 5 by 4 1/4. So let's see. Actually, no, it's not 5 by 4 1/4. It's 5 1/4 by 4. So we'll cut it this way at 4 and this way at 5 1/4. And again, this is Blushing Bride. It's a nice pink color. I don't use a lot of pinks, but sometimes you need some pink. Okay, so that's going to be our first layer. And then I need to measure this little piece right here of designer series paper. So I'm just going to place it on my Stampin' Up trimmer, and you can see here it ends at the 2. So this piece is going to be 2 by 5. So I have a piece of gingham paper here from the gingham paper pack, and it's really cute. There's a lot of patterns. I'm just going to flip through them real quick so that you can see. You get a ton of paper in this pack. So there's gray, there's basic black, there's some garden, I think that's soft succulent. There's the blushing bride, there's real red. There are a lot of great colors in here. So you can use that gingham paper for a lot of different things. But tonight we are using the blushing bride. Okay, and our measurements again are 2, 5, 5. So I am going to cut that. And then that's going to go right here. If you look closely at this card in the middle here, you'll see there's a piece of vellum. And I have some vellum right here. How are you doing tonight, Ian? I saw that you went to bingo. I wish I could have gone to that, but I was camping. Okay, and I'm going to cut this scrap piece of vellum at 5. And I think that their piece is about 1 inch wide. But I don't want my piece to be plain. I don't know why. I just had a thought while I was looking at it. And I have here the basic borders dies, and I'm going to cut the edge of my vellum. So I think, let's see, let's see, do I want little clouds? I think they would be kind of cute, but let's do this little wiggly, squiggly line. All right, and so then to cut that, I'm going to need my either a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or I have the Big Shot, and that's what I use. So I'll put my platform down. And I'll need 1 cutting plate on the bottom. And then I'm going to place my vellum. Where did I put that vellum? I think I don't know where it went. Do you see it, you guys? I hope it didn't go flying away, but I don't see it. It has to be here. It was just here. All right, I don't know what I did with that, and I can't see it on my table. So I'm going to have to cut a second piece, which seems awfully silly, but I'm sure I will find it again later. I must have picked it up with something else. I don't know. All right, let me find another little scrap piece in here. I just need it to be 5 inches long. No, yeah, 5 inches long. That one's a little bit too short. Here we go. I have another scrap piece right here. Okay, so I'm going to cut it. And this time I'm going to pay close attention to where I put it. It's got to be 5 inches. Well, I can't for the life of me see where I put that other piece. Okay, and then I'm going to lay this down. And I'm going to line up my edges here. And I think it'll be best if I kind of center it. So I think just like that looks pretty good. And then I'll put on my top plate. And then I'm going to pinch these together while I move over to the machine and then run it through. And I'll be right back. Okay. And guess what? My other piece of vellum was underneath there. I just couldn't find it. It must have been attached by a little bit of static to the bottom of my plate. Okay, so then when I run that through, I end up with two scallop pieces. So one side looks like it has kind of stitching, and the other side has little dots. And I think I want the side with the little dots this time. And I am going to put this borders die right back away before I lose it. I really meant for you to only be seeing what I'm working on and not me working on it. But I guess that way you get to see both, right? So you can see the little bit of mess that I have behind me that I've been working on and what I'm working on. Okay, so here is our little layers. And I think that I want my vellum to go behind here. That's going to be my plan. And tonight I'm going to use this white crinkle ribbon like that. But let's do some of our stamping. So I thought that this smoky slate would go nicely with our blushing bride. And what I wanted to do was stamp this beautiful onto a piece of Whisper White, and then we're going to cut it out with our circle die. Let's see. I think that this size will be good. And over here I have block C. It feels a little strange tonight, turning my back to the camera a bit. I'm usually doing that, but usually I think you can't really see me. And so, but today you can. All right, and we're gonna tap our stamp in our smoky slate ink. And I'm gonna test stamp before I stamp on my piece of paper. I don't always do that, but lately I've found I need more practice than I used to. All right, so we're gonna stamp this. I'm afraid this isn't gonna be big enough, so I'm gonna grab a bigger piece of basic white. Not a lot bigger, but just a bigger. I have a whole pile of little scraps next to me while I work of the things that I use the most. So basic white, and I have a few little labels that are always cut out, and I have some little paper strips as well. All right, so there is our stamp sentiment. And let's see, I'm not sure if I like that better or if I want it to be pink. So I'm gonna stamp one of each, and then we'll cut them out and see which one is better. Hopefully I have enough room on here to cut out both. All right, so now I'm gonna clean this off just so I don't forget and set it over here. Let me get my layering circle dies. See, we've got beautiful shapes, basic quarters. There we go, layering circles. So now we just need to find which circle is going to fit our sentiment the best. I think it's going to fit right inside that one. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut that one out. And the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine works very similar to the Big Shot, which is what I have. That's just the one that Stampin' Up sold before they changed over to the newer one. There's also a mini cut and emboss machine that you can get, a small one. I actually do have that one, and it'll sit right on your table by you as you work. Okay, and then here are our little sentiments. I'm obviously going to need to do more Zoom videos or Facebook videos so that I can figure out what is going on and how this works. Okay, so let's set up our design so far and see what we think. So we've got this, and we can do the pink, the blushing bride, or we can do smoky slate. And I think what I'll do is do the smoky slate, and we'll add that little banner down here at the bottom. So I've got some pieces of smoky slate right in here. Let me see if I've got one that's about the right size. Maybe we'll use one of these small ones. Mostly since I have a whole bunch. And it just makes sense. All right, I'm going to set this over here just in case I need a different piece. All right, and then we've got our little banner piece. So I'm just going to cut that one off using my scissors. And we're going to make a little cut in and then a little cut out. And hopefully they're close to the same. And I think that's close enough. And we'll end up putting that right. You know what? I wonder if we should put it this way. I think so. I think we'll cut it off right about here. And we'll stick it this way. All right, so let's start putting our card together. We may have a few more changes we want to make, but I think we are definitely getting there. All right, so I'm going to turn this over. And for this part, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. When I use Stampin' Seal, the way I like to do it is so that it pulls this direction. I don't know why, but that's the easiest way for me to get it to do what I want it to do. And then when I get to the end of where I want the glue, I tip it backwards. I had a lot of trouble with the Stampin' Seal at first. It's very sticky and I really struggled with it. But now I feel like I'm getting the hang of it at least. All right, so then we're gonna line that up along there and glue it down. And I'm gonna take my ribbon and when I tie a bow, I usually tie it upside down. So I'm gonna tie this way so that hopefully my bow points that way. I don't know if it'll work out this time, but we'll see. All right, and so then I'll cross them and tuck this one under. Okay, put my finger down to hold it. Pull up a loop on the left. And then I always go around and through. All right, and let's see how our bow does. And I never pull my bow completely tight until I kind of get it close to where I want it to be, just so that my ribbon doesn't get too wrinkled up. And so I can take it out if I need to adjust it. Okay, so there's my ribbon. I'm gonna cut this side a little bit shorter. There we go. And I did get a little twist in there, but I think it's all right. Okay. And then let's glue the front of our card on. I'm going to move this off to the side so I've got a little more space here. Now you can case pretty much any card, and that makes it a lot easier to feel creative. Now you don't have to come up with all your own ideas. You can take the simple layout and change it just a little bit. Change out the paper, change out the stamp set, and really make it your own. Okay, and then we're going to glue that down. And this one, I am going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals on. So I'm just going to put those right on the back. Two on the side, one in the middle, and then let's see, I just want my bow to be right where I want it before I stick those dimensionals on. And maybe I can twist it here at the bottom so that the twist goes in the back and not on the front. There we go. And since I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals on it anyways, that won't affect it. Okay, and then I'm going to put my last two Stampin' Dimensionals half on the ribbon and half on the back of the bow. Hi, Tina. I'm glad you could join me tonight. Okay, so there are my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just going to peel off the backs, throw those out, and then we're going to put this layer right over here, just like that. And then we can glue on our little banner. And I am going to put that right up against that last layer with just a little bit of liquid glue. Remember, when we're using our liquid glue, we don't want to use too much. So I'm going to put that right here. And then we have our sentiment. Let's see, shall we do, let's see. I think I like the blushing bride. So let's go with that one this time. And we'll just put a little, let's see, where should it go? Maybe right here. So I'll put one Stampin' Dimensional up here by the top. Let's see if I can, yeah. I think that'll be just right. And then I lost my glue dots for a second. I am going to take one of these glue dots and just stick it right here on my Smoky Slate cardstock. Okay, now when I put my sentiment down, it's just going to tuck right in there, just like that. So there is our card. It's a little bit different than the one we cased. And I think we should probably add a few gems, right? Because everything should have gems, okay? And let's use, maybe not everything, but lots of things. We'll use some of these rhinestone basic jewels. And I'm going to grab the little tiny ones and I'm just going to sprinkle them around. And there's 3 of them. You know what? I want more than 3. So let's do 4. We'll do 5. There we go. All right, so if you are signed up for my email list, then this is the card that I will be sending out. I'll be sending out the directions for tonight. I just wanted to hold them up a little bit closer so that you could see. This is the one we cased, and this is the one that we ended up with tonight. Thank you, Tina. I was just saying this is one I made at Michelle's summer retreat for All-Star Stampers, and I really wanted to use this stamp set that comes in the it comes in this kit. So it's the Love This Memory Notebook kit, and this is the one I actually bought for my daughter. I bought one for myself, and then I bought one for my daughter because she was desperate to have her own little notebook. But I actually considered getting a few more because they come with a lot of stuff. And I thought it'd be really fun to make one for each of our summer camping trips. Well, like one per summer, if that makes sense. All right, thank you for joining me tonight for Stampin' Sunday. I hope that you have a wonderful week and you get lots of creative things done. I am in the midst of starting to produce things for Santa's workshop at my kids' school in December. So if you have ideas for fun little gifts or trinkets that they might want to purchase for their family members, that it would be great if you send them my way. I will see you next Sunday for another Stampin' Sunday video. Happy stamping and have a great week. I'll see you then.